Hi guys, very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the video number 215, and in this video I'm actually going to talk about the MS Access. And in the MS Access we are actually going to answer one of our subscribers, one of my subscribers question. Unfortunately, it's very pain actually to read out this question because he has written, let me just read out this. I have received an email from Mithun actually, and he said that hi Ajay, my name is Mithun, and recently I appeared for Access interview where I was asked to tell the reason for the error. Microsoft cannot append all records due to key violation, and unfortunately I couldn't answer the question, though I know it is related to append query. My request to you to throw some light on it. I have seen all of your videos on how to crack the Excel and the Excel VBA interviews, but there isn't much on Access. Well, I apologize, Mithun. I'm really feeling very bad on that, but trust me, we have actually recently started the videos on the Access, right? And I think it's just, I think, 1 month, that we have started uploading the videos on the Access and the Access VBA. But nevertheless, I mean, I know that we got little late, but still in the coming time, I promised that I'm going to upload a lot of videos on the Access, also from the interview perspective. So my apologies. Will it be possible for you to do me a favor for me and for all of us who are associated with the channel? Error snapshot is attached in my email. Looking eagerly for a video. Well, thank you so much, first of all, for writing me in and for sharing your concern. And yes, I'm definitely going to today help you out in this error, and through my channel, everybody who is preparing for the Access interview or who are actually looking for the basic, the Access, what exactly is the Access. So this video is definitely going to help, because this is going to be the very base, it's actually the very foundation. It's the main principle on which, this Access, the thing which we are going to discuss today, it's a very basic thing. You are supposed to know it. If you're not supposed to know, if you're not knowing this thing, then definitely it keeps coming back to you, and it keeps creating the problem for you whenever you work on the Access, whether it is your Access VBA or Access the front end, right? So this is what exactly, guys, Mithun has shared with me, and you can see that this is the error. So I know this error is very familiar, and I remember in my actually learning days long time back, I used to get irritated by this, and trust me, I tried hard actually to find the reason for this error on the Google, everywhere, I mean, but it just, I mean, I was not able to actually really see a good solution, a valid answer for that, right? But obviously, because I spent a lot of time in the MI, so then gradually I learned that, all right, so what is the reason for this error actually? So you can read it out. This error clearly says that Microsoft can't append all the records in the append query, and Microsoft Access set 3 field to null due to type conversion error. So I think he was asked about this error. Somebody showed this error, and they asked that whether do you know when this error is going to come, right? And there actually he struggled. So I would say that the interview was absolutely, I mean, whosoever had taken your interview, I would say that this is actually the very best question, the very basic question he has asked you. And I appreciate this question actually, because this is really a very cool question, right? So we're going to upload the video right away. I'm going to tell you what exactly it happens. So let's go ahead and let's start with this Microsoft this Access. So I'm using the Access 2016. Let me just open the blank database, and this works actually, guys, in all the versions. It really doesn't matter which version you're using. So now when this actual error comes, so basically this is the error when you're trying to insert some values into some table, and now those values could be from query, those values could be from Access table. So when you have a wrong data type chosen, there you actually get this kind of a error. So let me just give you a very small example. Let's just go ahead and wrap this video also a little fast, because it's a very small thing, but yes, it's a very important thing at the same time. This tells you that that how much understanding you have, the basic understanding you have on your Access. So now let's say we create two tables. The one table I'm going to create here is let's say I'm going to write here stock ID, let's say stock name, let's say, okay, and I'm going to keep it as the data type as short text, or maybe let's say a number, okay, and I give this transaction ID, whatever you want to call it, hardly matters. Okay, now let's just go here and change this to number. okay, and I'm going to delete this. Let me save the file. Table, sorry, I beg your pardon. So table, the name which we're going to give is stock information. Let's say stock info. Okay, now the text you entered is an item in the list. Well, we don't need this. Just give me a second. I think we have to, it's just we need to delete this row. All right, let me save the table now. Okay, and we're going to name it as stock underscore info. We don't want to create the primary key, so you can say that, do you want to create the primary? No, I don't want to create it. All right, now this is your table which is totally blank, as you can see here. Now there's one more table which I'm going to add in here quickly, and we would like to see you know, those records getting into this stock info table. So let's say I write here stock, let's say stock number. Okay, and I declare this here as a short text, or maybe you can say long text, right? Let's just go in the view, save the table, and let's say we want to name this as stock IDs. Okay, click on the yes. No, I don't want to create any primary key, right? Okay, so now this is your table. Now I'm going to enter here, let's say, a couple of things. For example, some you know, the numbers, let's say any number you can write here. Let's say this is the one I'm going to create, and one more number I'm going to create here. Okay, and there is one more number which I'm going to create here. Let's say this is the one I have created, right? Okay, now let's just save this table. Okay, so now stock ID is where you have all the stock numbers, and the stock info is the table which is absolutely blank. Okay, now what we want to do is, from the stock IDs, from these IDs, we would like to insert all these records into this table. Let's say this is what exactly we want to do, copy and paste kind of a thing using the query. Okay, so I go to the query and I click on the design query and I select the table. So stock ID, the table which I want here, because stock info is totally blank. Now this, the stock number, you know, this, if you look at this view, you would see all the stock numbers which I have written, right? Come back to the design view. Now what we want is, we want to insert all these records into this stock info table. So you use the append query, right? Append is to insert the data basically, right? Which table? So I'm going to choose my table which is called the stock info table. I selected this, I pressed OK. Now append to, this option would come. If you remember, this option was not there. If you would have seen, let me just undo it. Let me make it again select query. You see that by default this is basically your query visit, which is a typical your example of select query. The moment you click on the append, see what happens. The moment you click on the append, it asks you where exactly you want to insert the data. So because we have only two tables, so it is displaying only the two tables, right? But you can also insert the data, you know, in some another table. If it is in some another database, you just need to use this another database, right? But definitely that is something we are not going to do. So I'm just going to click OK. Now once you click on the OK, you see that append to comes. This is what I was talking about. So now this stock number which I show you here in this header, stock number, all these three headers, we would like to insert where in this table which is stock info, and the header name is stock transaction ID, right? So you would see here append to where exactly you want to append to. Now because you have already defined the table that where exactly you want to append to, so definitely you don't really require to declare the, you know, that new table again, because once you declare the table here, automatically that table, you know, the fields will populate here, and since we have only one field in that table, so you can easily select it. So this is the field, right? If you remember, stock transaction ID, this is the one. This is the stock transaction ID which we want to, you know, where we actually want to insert these numbers, stock number, one by one. Now let's go ahead and let's click on the run, because this query is prepared. Now we will see that if the records are going to be inserted in this stock info table or not. You're about to append 3 rows. If you remember, I got only 3 records in my stock ID, right? So it's giving me the correct information, and it also says once you click yes, you can't use the undo command. So if you would have seen my previous Access videos, a lot of time, you know, I emphasize on this fact that whenever you're working on the Access, please ensure that whatever you are doing, you know, you should be knowing it very well, because there is no undo command like in Excel, right? So once the data gets inserted, you cannot really undo it. you will have to go back to the table and you have to delete it, just in case if you think that you have something, you have inserted something wrong, right? But anyways, in this case we know that everything is perfect, so we're just going to click on the yes. So I click on the yes. The moment I click on the yes, now look at this. Now this says that Microsoft Access set 2 fields to null due to the type conversion failure, and it didn't add 0 records to the table due to the key violation, 0 records due to the lock violation, and 0 record due to the validation rule violation. Now there are a lot of things which it says, but eventually it says do you want to run the query anyway or not. So let's say I say that alright, I don't care, the error is coming, let me just click on the yes. The moment you click on the yes, now let's have a look on the table, the stock information table. Let me just close this table again, and let's just close this table as well. Now let's open this table, stock info. Now do you see that, guys? There is one interesting thing. In your stock ID table you have 3 records, right? And if you remember, when I ran this query, it was telling me that how many records I'm going to not append, 2 set fields. You see that Microsoft set 2 fields to null. So it says that basically due to the type conversion failure, 2 fields are totally blank. Microsoft Access has made them blank. They are not going to be inserted, and the reason is that it is a type conversion failure. Now you must be wondering that what is that? I mean, why then it has inserted the one record, which is this 1 2 4 5 5 6, right? If it should have inserted all the records, I would have understood, all right, the query is working. Or if it should have not inserted even a single record, then also I would have understood. But why 2, and why there was this one item which is left? So the reason is very simple. Basically what happened, if you look at this table, you go to the design view, you see that it is the data type which you have selected is the long text, okay? And if you come here and you see here the design view of this table, this is for the numbers only, right? So anything which you write in this table, in this stock ID, it is going to be considered as a text, okay? So text means that you cannot insert the text into a header which has a number data type. Obviously you can't, it is not going to accept that, right? Now the second question comes, then why actually it allowed this one? It is very simple, because numbers are also stored as text. Numbers can be accepted as text in Excel and in Access, and that is the reason it has accepted this record. Now for example, if I just make it a text, let me add some text entry here. Now look at this, I'm going to close this table, let me save the table. Alright, anyways, it didn't ask me for the saving option, but that's fine. Have a look there. Now everything is in the text form, there is no number, right? Because this is alphanumeric, so this is also going to be considered as text. And let me just delete this table, let's make it empty, okay? Just one second, let me just delete it. Alright, now this is totally empty. Now we are going to run this query again. Now this time if I run this, then definitely it should give us the error for all the records, for all the 3 records. Let's have a look, guys. You're about to append the 3 rows, alright, yes, and there we go. Now you got the point. It says Microsoft Access set 3 fields to null. So what it did, if you click on the yes, then nothing will happen. If you click on the stock info, you see that all the items which you were supposed to enter, they are turned into a blank, into null. Reason, because they all are text, right? So let me just open this Excel and show you. I'm not sure whether you know that or not, but I'm simply telling you a number can be stored as a text. What does that mean? That means that if I write here 66, I press enter, you see the automatically the if it is a number, then it moves always to the right side of the cell. I'm not sure whether you know that or not, but this is a good tip for you. Whenever you enter any number, automatically it shifts to the right of the cell, but whenever you enter something in the text, it always remains to the left of this, right? Now what happens, now we know that this is a number, and I can put the formula here, is number. You see that I'm going to write here a function is number. This is Excel formula to check whether the number is a text or a number. So the moment you press enter, it says true, so it is a number actually, absolutely. The moment I now write, let's say, this number, you see that it is not actually moved to the right side, and if you apply the function here, you would see that this is not going to be a text, this is not going to be number. You see that this is not a number. Now what special I did in this, I simply put this apostrophe actually. So basically right now I did this manually, but what happens when you import the data from the text file or from SQL Server, from Access database, or maybe there is some file generated on your server and you always import that in the Excel or in the Access, it happens many times that these numbers gets entered as a text, and that is the reason you always see this pop-up. I'm sure if you work on Excel you might be familiar with this. Now the moment you change this to convert to number, you see that this answer would come back to the true. So exactly the same thing is happening in the Access, right? When you entered here something in the form of number, then number can be considered, though this is entered in the if you see the design view, this is entered as a long text, but this number can also be accepted as a number, no matter you have entered it under the design under that design view. The data type which you have given is a text, but still it is a number after all, right? And that is the reason when you go to the stock info table where you have designed this IDs as number, it is going to accept that, right? So this is how you get these errors. So whenever you get these errors, that it's a key violation or some sort of these problems, always remember, if you exactly get this kind of a error which I was talking about here due to type conversion failure, then this would definitely mean that there is some conversion failure which is happening. It means that you have selected somewhere text and you want that value to be inserted as a number, right? So go back to the table and correct your tables. So this generally is all about the database designing principles, right? When you design your database tables, you always take care of things in advance, right? So that's it, and you can also go and find out all the videos on under my YouTube channel. This is especially the series which we have launched, Excel VBA Access interviews, and I have talked about Excel and the Excel VBA interviews, and this video I'm going to upload under this category, and you can watch it. And next time I hope that when you appear for the interview your concept will be clear. So thank you so much once again guys for writing me in, and thank you for supporting me as well. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you can subscribe. You have a link just right on the the bottom corner of this video. And one new promise that next time when I will be back with some more exciting stuff, very useful stuff, right? Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.